Man United news, Ruben Amarim dealt transfer blow as Stars actions speak volumes. Welcome to Manchester United News Update. Subscribe for more Manchester United news, match previews, and transfer updates. The excitement is building at Old Trafford ahead of Ruben Amarim's first Premier League game in charge. The anticipation is building at Manchester United with Ruben Amarim's first match in charge now just 5 days away. The Portuguese boss will be in the dugout on Sunday when the Red Devils go to Ipswich in the Premier League and has had the benefit of being able to get familiar with his squad during the international break. Amarim actually takes the reins with the club unbeaten in their last 4 games under interim boss Ruud van Nistelrooy. But the Dutchman has since departed Old Trafford, with the new man immediately putting his own stamp on the club by employing a whole new coaching team. Speculation is already mounting over what transfer targets United will now chase in January, with a number of names already linked. Amorim must deal with modest transfer budget. Erik ten Hag spent more than £600 million on players during his 2.5 years in charge, with many signings yet to justify their large fees. And now Ineos are seemingly determined not to let Amorim make the same mistakes and are set to limit what their new man can spend in January. According to The Telegraph, Sir Jim Ratcliffe believes the current United squad is good enough to challenge the elite both domestically and in Europe. And he wants the club to now build with what they have rather than sanction an overhaul, meaning Amorim will only be given a modest sum to spend. The development will come as a blow to Amorim, who is renowned for his 3-4-3 formation. He was expected to bring in new personnel in order to fit in with his system, a stark contrast to the 4-2-3-1 United regularly played under ten Hag. Martinez makes a statement. Lisandro Martinez is reportedly returning to Manchester early in a bid to impress his new manager. The centre-back had been selected by Argentina to face Peru and Paraguay in 2026 World Cup qualifiers, but had to withdraw from the squad after picking up an injury against Leicester. According to the Daily Mail, the 26-year-old had been given permission to instead stay with his family in South America until next week. The next international break is not until March, meaning foreign players are unlikely to be able to return home for 4 months. Ruben Amarim prepared to axe Man United winger Giovanni Quenda eyed as replacement. Manchester United manager Ruben Amarim has given the green light to offload winger Antony when the transfer window reopens in January, according to Daily Star. Antony joined the Red Devils from Ajax for £82 million in the summer of 2022. He started off his career brilliantly with 3 goals from as many games, but has since failed to meet expectations. The 24-year-old has managed just 9 more goals from his next 84 appearances, and he was out of favour under manager Erik ten Hag prior to his departure last month. It is now reported that Amorim is prepared to part ways with Antony. The Portuguese tactician has his sights on reuniting with Sporting CP wonderkid Giovanni Quenda next summer. United are prepared to listen to offers for Antony in the winter transfer window. They are willing to sell him to the highest bidder or loan him out for the rest of the season. United need to cut their losses on Antony. Antony has been hugely disappointing over the last 2.5 seasons. He was initially an undisputed starter for United, but has fallen down the pecking order. Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford were largely preferred ahead of him in the wide attacking roles last term. Amad Diallo has now added more competition for places. Manchester United manager Ruben Amarim has given the green light to offload winger Antony when the transfer window reopens in January, according to Daily Star. Antony joined the Red Devils from Ajax for £82 million in the summer of 2022. He started off his career brilliantly with 3 goals from as many games, but has since failed to meet expectations. The 24-year-old has managed just 9 more goals from his next 84 appearances, and he was out of favour under manager Erik ten Hag prior to his departure last month. It is now reported that Amorim is prepared to part ways with Antony. The Portuguese tactician has his sights on reuniting with Sporting CP wonderkid Giovanni Quenda next summer. United are prepared to listen to offers for Antony in the winter transfer window. They are willing to sell him to the highest bidder or loan him out for the rest of the season. United need to cut their losses on Antony. Antony has been hugely disappointing over the last 2.5 seasons. He was initially an undisputed starter for United, but has fallen down the pecking order. Man United chiefs name 2 players who can bounce back under new boss Ruben Amarim. Ruben Amarim is set to take charge of Manchester United against Ipswich Town after being appointed Red Devils boss and has the faith of the club's footballing hierarchy. Manchester United boss Ruben Amarim will be required to work with a more modest transfer budget than his predecessor Erik ten Hag, and instead is being tasked to improve players already at his disposal. The 39-year-old is set to take training this week after arriving at Old Trafford, ahead of his first match in charge of the club against Ipswich Town this weekend. United bosses already have faith that Amorim will be able to bring the best out of big money signings such as Mason Mount and Rasmus Højlund. The former Portugal midfielder has already met with Chief Executive Omar Berrada, Sporting Director Dan Ashworth and Technical Director Jason Wilcox since arriving in Manchester last week. The Telegraph report that Amorim will be given time to assess his squad and how the group adapts to his approach will be taken into account before making any definitive transfer plans. Amorim already spoken highly of the faith placed in him by United's hierarchy. The ex-Sporting CP coach is happy with the club's plan. When Manchester United talked to me, Omar, they told me about their plans, he said in his first interview. It's a real honor because I was the first choice to start that path. So it's a great responsibility. But you feel honored and excited to be part of that. And we know that if the team plays well and wins games, everything looks so much better and the people really start to believe in the new stadium and new ideas. I felt a connection with Berrada, Ashworth and Wilcox, and I felt we are in the same moment, he added. We want to do something special in the special club. So, I think that was a key point. There is set to be some turnover at Old Trafford in the summer come what may with Christian Eriksen, Victor Lindelof and Johnny Evans all out of contract. Decisions will be required on Harry Maguire and Amad Diallo, whose deals are also set to run out but the club hold options to extend the contract of each player. Amorim is hoping to hit the ground running however. In the case of Højlund and other young teammates such as Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho, youth will not be used as an excuse in the search for success. Imagine him and Rashford. Man United can sign Amorim's dream wing-back for £36 million. The Premier League makes its return this weekend following the third international break of the season so far, and with it, Manchester United will get to see new boss Ruben Amarim in the dugout for the first time. The 39-year-old has been tasked with ultimately leading the Red Devils back to the glory of years past, but the immediate objective will be to try and get the club back into the Champions League for next year. However, while he can certainly help with his tactical approach and man management skills, he'll need his players to rediscover their form of 2 seasons ago, notably Marcus Rashford. Fortunately, the club were linked with a player who could help the Englishman get back to his very best last week, a player who could be the manager's perfect wing-back. Just 2 years ago, Rashford was in the form of his life for United. By the time the 22-23 campaign ended, the Englishman had racked up a frankly ridiculous haul of 30 goals and 11 assists in 56 appearances, equating to a sensational average of a goal involvement every 1.36 games. However, his form did not continue into last season, and instead, he went from one of the most dangerous forwards in all of Europe to someone who could only score 8 goals and provide 6 assists in 43 games. Unfortunately, this dramatic nosedive in form has seemingly continued into this year, and while he's looked slightly better here and there, 2 of his 4 goals and 1 of his 3 assists came against League One Barnsley in the League Cup. In all, before the new manager was appointed, things did not look good for the Manchester-born attacker's future prospects at the Theatre of Dreams. However, the arrival of Amorim gives him a chance to start again, and if recent reports linking the club to an up-and-coming left-back are accurate, then there is still every chance that the local lad will rediscover his form at United. The signing who could revive Rashford. Okay, so this exciting left-back in question is Bournemouth's Milos Kerkez, who, according to reports from Spain, is now a player Manchester United are intensely interested in and have already held initial inquiries over. There is no mention of a potential price in the story, but reports from earlier this year claimed that while reluctant to sell the Hungarian international, the Cherries would be willing to let him go for around £35 million. Thanks for watching.